Noblemen and magistrates, welcome to the philosophical and political pantheon of all things forrest, fenn, narrated by the Christian theologian. Hello, greetings, how are we doing? This is going to be quite the video, if you will. I think I'm starting to really, kind of figure out what's going on, and very optimistic, feeling really good about what I'm figuring out. And okay, let's get into it, shall we? It's really cold here in Amarillo, guys. I think it feels like 10 degrees out there. Maybe less. Okay. Here's the deal. Really, I had an epiphany the other night. I figured it out. After the Scrapbook 215 business partners were formed, okay? Just kind of think about S Corporation, okay? After the Scrapbook 215 business partners were formed, Fenn set up all involved with the scrapbooks, constantly hinting at embezzlement, laundering, extortion, racketeering, tax evasion. After the After the Scrapbook 215 business partners were formed, Fenn set up all involved with the scrapbooks, constantly hitting at embezzlement, laundering, extortion, racketeering, tax evasion. Also, this is all just opinion, by the way. All just opinion. Also, I think either me or Fenn got hacked, and Fenn knew it. I'm not ready to talk about me possibly getting hacked. Either me or Fenn got hacked, and Fenn knew it. And I'm not ready to talk about me possibly getting hacked. Now, what you got to understand, Fenn sabotaged everything on purpose. Okay, he tricked them. He set up those Scrapbook 215 business partners where they would sign stuff, and then he's letting us know about all the fraud going on in the scrapbooks after he had them sign that stuff. I mean, it's just genius what Fenn did. It's absolutely genius. This is unbelievable. Okay, 1 second. Now, my lawyer will be contacting Netflix to make sure they're not using my content without negotiating a percentage of revenues to me. Can you imagine, with my swag, a philosopher and a player? I mean, the show's not going to work without the solver. So, I mean, I've got so much swag. It's not gonna work without the solver, without me, and I'm very well aware of that. So, just imagine, me and Fenn in the cut, but Fenn always had my back. Man, that boy had my back, dude. I ain't even gonna lie. But I've printed off over 900 pages of scrapbooks, questions and answers, and other stuff with Fenn. Printed it all off. Just wait till I go over all of it. I mean, I've gone over a small amount, but it's all about those scrapbooks. It's all about after Fenn set up those business partners, it's all about him then talking in the scrapbooks about embezzlement, laundering, extortion, racketeering, and tax evasion. Now, this is going to sound crazy, but I would say each video I've made, if I did figure it out, each video I've made, it's worth at least six figures, at least 100,000 minimum, bare minimum. I have an MBA, 3 business degrees, and I will get up into the numbers, and you will understand why. You think I care about $75,000 for a treasure after splitting it with my search partner and then paying taxes on it? You think I care about $75,000? When each video I've made is worth easily over $100,000, if I'm right? Crazy. And you best believe I'm going to hook up my brother, my search partner, with a percentage of the revenues. You best believe that. I'm not greedy, you know that. If you've listened to my videos. Let me see here. Okay, Netflix numbers. Netflix is currently paying between 100 to 250 million for blockbuster movies, while popular TV shows with multiple seasons have budgets that range from 300 to 500 million. say that the way they design this forrest fenn stuff, say they make it go 10 seasons, that could easily be worth $500 million, their budget on what they would pay. I forgot what they make. They make like annual revenue. What is it, like close to $10 billion in revenue a year? 1 second. I mean, oh my god. Oh my goodness. The company's annual revenues reached $25 billion. This is 2020. They have 204 million subscribers. $25 billion, so it's probably about closer to 30 billion right now. That treasure don't mean shit. Okay? No offense to Forrest. I mean, God, Lee Forrest has had my back. But it doesn't mean anything compared to what I could make from Netflix. Do you understand that? Now, someone made a comment. I've got like 40 reasons why I'm right, at least. And someone made a comment on Calazar's show. I just skipped through it. I literally listened to 5% or less. It's gotten so bad. But Northern Arizona, someone mentioned the mascot there is Louie the Lumberjack. And Finn talked about Northern Arizona parking lot or something, didn't he? So there's another reason. Guys, I'm right. I had it right, man. It's just, how many reasons do you need? 30, 40, 50, 60 reasons why I'm right? I told you why it was special to Finn. I mean, it's pretty funny. I don't really care what you believe. I pretty much know I'm right over 90%. Now, me or Finn got hacked, and you best believe I'm going to honor Finn. I probably need to re-upload those song dedications to him, because now I'm really figuring out what's going on. Okay, let me stop it again. Okay, continuing on. Let me go over some Netflix numbers for you. Okay, so a big show with multiple seasons. This forrest fenn thing could be huge. A huge show I read to you was $300 to $500 million is what Netflix will pay out to produce the show. Now, say 60 videos, okay? And that I made. I've done more than that, but they're just, I probably need to retitle them. But let's just say 60. And I said 100,000 a episode, or every video that I've made. Okay, so that's $6 million. Do you know what the math is? $6 million divided by, say that this Netflix is willing to spend $500 million. 6 million divided by $500 million is, again, $100,000 for each one of my videos. That's 1.2%. If each one of my videos is $100,000, that is 1.2%. 6 million divided by 500 million. That's 1.2%. Do you realize each one of... I'm not greedy. I'll take $6 million, but you could easily say that I get, for providing them the solution, that I get 5%. I mean, let's just do some back of the envelope math. I mean, well, what would I do? 5 divided by 1.2. 4.16 times higher than what I'm currently at. So 4.16 times what, the 6 million? That's that's exactly 25 million to me for 5% for 5% of Netflix cost on a $500 million project. I make $25 million. That's fair, isn't it? I mean, I'm not worried about $75,000 from the treasurer. Okay, 25 million sounds pretty damn good. I'm not really worried about the money. You know that about me, though. You know I'm already very well off. But I just told you how I could easily make $25 million. Easy. Okay, let me stop it again. Again, Fenn is he is just not just hinting. He is screaming in his scrapbooks. After he tricked those business partners, he is screaming at embezzlement, laundering, extortion, racketeering, and tax evasion. Again, I made a note. I'm kind of disoriented here, but again, that treasure after splitting it in taxes isn't worth not even one of my YouTube videos. Like, I want to be treated with some. You guys are showing me good respect, but I want to be treated with more respect, especially after I go over all the scrapbooks. Oh my God. So you know what's ironic? All this fraud from the Scrapbook 215 business partners is going to make me way more rich this way. Way more money. People love stories with fraud. They absolutely love stories with fraud. God is good, man. God is good. Thank you to my subscribers. Thank you for supporting me. Thank you for everything. I'm just blessed. I am so blessed. And I made a note. Sorry, I'm not trying to rub it in, but I could be a millionaire 10 times over. Hell, 25 times over. I mean, it's possibilities are absolutely endless. See, because of all the fraud, it's a way better story to tell. It's just gonna be, they're doing me a huge favor. They're making me easily 10 times more money by them getting into all this fraud, and Fenn calling them out and screaming from the rooftops in his scrapbooks about all the fraud. Thank you, guys. You think you're so clever. It's just unbelievable the way it works out. God is good, man. Man, oh man, God is good. Let me stop it. In closing, I'm on cloud nine. I'm feeling great right now. Hope you're doing well, and look, I mean, I feel a little bit guilty about these are numbers. I've got business degrees, stock market. I mean, these are real numbers. Nothing's out of thin air, I mean, this is real. This is real stuff. So this is not pie in the sky. I mean, yeah, it sounds like it, but if I'm right, I keep qualifying it. If I'm right, I'm not 100%, but I'm over 90%. But the thing is, this is, again, this is not pie in the sky. This is real. This is real stuff. And so it's just so ironic the way it's working out. But look, I feel a little bit guilty if I do make millions of dollars, then what could I do? Well, if I do make millions of dollars, I'm probably going to help out a lot of people in the community that were wronged. Definitely. It's not about money to me, and that. So if you listen to my early videos, it's partly about money, but I'm ready to help people out. All the people that were wronged. This is going to be a hell of a story with all the fraud. And golly, Fenn just had my back 100%, 1,000,000%. I mean, This is unbelievable how this could work out. So thank you so much for supporting me. I'm gonna, with naturalistic fallacy, I say it over and over. It's not cliche. It's with naturalistic fallacy. It is way beyond money. You know, money is just, it only amplifies what you already are. Okay? If money only, Deion Sanders, the unbelievable football player, really smart dude, it just, money only, if you're a good person, it's going to amplify that. If you're a bad person, it's going to amplify that. So, the money, it's just amazing. It's just amazing how this is working out. So, this is amazing. So, I think Netflix could make this into 5, 10 seasons or even more. I mean, all the YouTube content and all those people, they think they're so clever, but they've probably been painting themselves into a corner this whole time. And I'm out in the open, out front with everything. And if you're feeling down about the forrest fenn thing, just I wouldn't. I think things are going to really start looking up pretty soon, and things are really going to turn around, hopefully. So, thanks for listening. And in terms of me going over the scrapbooks, no hurry. Might be a month. I'll try to get a video out within 30 days. But the solution is eternal, and I'm doing great. I'm really healthy. I'm not going anywhere. And there's no hurry on any of this. We could get 10 seasons, 15 seasons of forrest fenn on Netflix. And there's no hurry. Let's take our time. And you know what I mean? So let's make this a positive thing. And please support me even more. Because if I do have the solution right, and I do make millions of dollars, then I'm not going to forget those that are supporting me. So, thank you so much. Have a wonderful day, and hopefully we will talk to you within a few weeks. Okay. Just continuing on, I was thinking about Netflix and just the possibilities, and you're probably going to find this very interesting what I'm about to say, but for about 10 seasons or more, it's probably worth a good popular documentary. It's probably worth Netflix would be willing to pay $500 million in today's money. Probably really more than that in the future, obviously. Okay, maybe 600 or 700 million. Here's what I'm getting at. Okay, second place, third place, assuming you have a Wyoming solve, I believe it's easily worth more than the treasure, $300,000. There's so much money to go around. It's unbelievable. So now, I do email with Granite, and he has a Wyoming solve. He's never went over any of it with me. But Granny is so sharp, so smart, that if I'm not right, then Granite is right. I believe that. So, me and Granny, I don't know who, I believe, just my opinion, I believe over 90% chance I'm right. But say Granny's in second place. His solve is probably, his losing solve, or my losing solve, it's worth probably, at first place, I did the math, just 5% is worth $25 million. I mean, second place, it's probably $1 million, maybe even more. I mean, they need content, so second place, a losing solve's worth $1 million. I mean, third place, probably 500,000 to $1 million. Fourth place, $300,000 to $400,000. Fourth place is probably worth more than the treasure. I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding at all. So, I got Kerwin solved, possibly third place. Troy, fourth place. Five Leaf, I don't think he ever went over his solve. I was asking him to before. I don't know if he did. I'm not big on the ciphers, but Netflix is going to be the one that makes the decision on what place they think everybody is. So, with what I've told you, just be careful when you negotiate with Netflix. Be true to yourself. Do you think you have the winning solve, or do you think you have a third, fourth, fifth place solve? Because if you have a fourth or fifth place solve, and you're asking Netflix and you're holding out and you're trying to get first place money, they're not going to do that. So, but if you play your cards right, the fifth place solve could be upwards of close to $1 million. So, let me stop it for a second. Okay, continuing on. So, if you're a fin tuber and not a part of the if you're not a part of the Scrapbook 215 Business Partner Network, you should totally be focused on going over our solves and anyone else with a Wyoming solve that's been out there for a while. There's not many of them. If these fin tubers were smart, they wouldn't be talking about all this bullshit and nonsense. It makes them look, by the way, in my opinion, they look so guilty. I'm not saying that they are, but it's going to come a point in time where if they don't want to look guilty and all this fraud stuff, all this shit hits the fan, embezzlement and all this laundering and other stuff, it's not going to be a good look. Like, the best look for these popular fin tubers is to be going over the solves over and over and over, or trying to create a new solve. That's where the money's at. Okay? So, let me stop it again. Sorry. Okay, continuing on. And then people like Dave, what's his YouTube moniker? Dave First Place or something like that. That guy that's got that New Mexico solve. I mean, he could make some money, but in my opinion, I don't think he's going to make much money. Like, if you have a Colorado, Montana, or New Mexico solve, I don't think there's much money to be made. I think he could negotiate a little bit, make a little bit of money for sure. $500 million, there's a lot of money to go around. And look, if you try to say to me, well, it's not going to cost them $500 million to put the documentary together. Well, yeah, but it's like patents. Okay, it's like, do they want the content? Do they want the content of the solves? Well, that's part of the production of running the documentary. So, absolutely, they could spend upwards of $500 million to make the documentary 10 plus seasons, and then get the content of the solves that have stood the test of time. I mean, 6th place, 7th place, 8th place, 9th place, 10th place in Wyoming, they're all probably easily worth $100,000. There is so much money to go around, it's unbelievable. So these fin tubers, they're just going to look foolish. They're going to be like, dude, you look guilty because you're talking about nonsense. You're literally talking about nonsense. 95% of the time. You look guilty, dude. Why don't you go over the solves? Get your mind right. But I have 50 reasons why I'm right, and I'm about to go over all the scrapbooks. So I'm trying to help y'all out, But if you try to negotiate, go ahead and negotiate. If you believe you have the first place solution, your first place, go ahead and do that. But I think Netflix is going to look at my solution and 50 plus reasons why I'm right and why it was special to Fenn, and I'm going to be getting big time money for that. So So I'm trying to help you out. You can look second, third place. You can make a lot of money, a lot of money. So it's the possibilities are endless. So I thought I would definitely go over that. And but anyway, I think that pretty much wraps it up. Again, just thinking, so if I make 25 million out of a $500 million production cost, I mean that's only 5%. So that all the money I added up second through 10th place, I mean that's probably 6%. So I mean that's 6% of their production cost. I mean, so what I'm getting at is people like Calazars, Treasure Warriors, um, you know, assuming and as long as you're not a Scrapbook 215 business partner, and I don't think they are, then I mean the amount of money that they can make from developing content is it's millions of dollars. It I've gone over the numbers. This is not pie in the sky. But if they're talking nonsense, I mean it's not. There's just not much money. I mean, or like if you don't, it's getting to the point. I'm going to go over 900 pages. I'm going to start going over it. And the main thing is, what's going to sell is the fraud. So if they're protecting the fraud, it's the viewers aren't really going to care about that because you're not getting to the truth. But if you start going over all the fraud, who are the Scrapbook 215 business partners, and you're going over all the Wyoming solves, and you're trying to figure out this fraud, there is millions of dollars to make as content developers. I mean, who are all the YouTube channels? Calazars, Treasure Warriors, and there's other ones too. But if you're talking about, oh, you're in la la land and conspiracy theories, and you're not even, and those people that look like schizophrenics, where they're trying to make all these connections that don't exist, like, and that's all you do. Netflix isn't going to be interested in that. You think they're going to be interested in filming schizophrenics? No. So, but like Calazars and Treasure Warriors, I mean, I don't think they do it too bad in terms of trying to make connections that don't exist. Yeah, they might talk about weird stuff, but it's not like, I don't think it's like schizophrenic behavior. So there's millions. I'm convinced there is millions of dollars to be made if you're doing the right stuff. If you're going after the fraud and you're going over the solves, there are not hundreds of thousands of dollars to be made. There's millions of dollars to be made. This is an internet gold mine, literally. I mean, it's so much money. I went over the numbers with you. All the money awarded, I mean, to first to 10th place, 6% or whatever. I mean, imagine if that's 10, 20, 50% or even more. I mean, it's just unbelievable. It's just unbelievable the amount of money that can be made. Millions of dollars. Millions of dollars to a lot of people. Not thousands. Millions of dollars. I am 100% convinced of that. But I'm trying to help y'all out, I mean, on what Netflix is going to want. So, just in my opinion. But anyway, I thought I would go over that. Okay, we'll talk to you later. Just looking at something interesting here, I was thinking, The Curse of Oak Island sources report that Marty's salary. I don't really watch the show. I mean, a few years ago I saw a couple episodes. I would like to start watching that show from scratch, possibly. It deals with the Freemasons, and I've studied a lot of that ancient stuff. But anyway, The Curse of Oak Island sources report that Marty's salary is nearly $100,000 per episode. Isn't that weird? I said each one of my videos could be worth about $100,000 or more. I mean, but the thing is, godly, I'm really just thinking here. I'm really thinking. Okay, so The Curse of Oak Island. What do we know? Isn't that? I could be way off, but isn't that by Nova Scotia, Canada, the island? So And the thing is, $100,000 per episode, that might have been, it might be a lot more than that right now. I don't know. Okay? And the other thing is, comparing them with the Fenn thing, well, the Fenn thing it's the most American thing there is. I mean, it's the biggest treasure hunt ever. It's in the United States. And you get a poem. So the Curse of Oak Island is kind of esoteric. Well, we heard this information, we heard that information, and, Nova Scotia, Canada. The guy's still making at least $100,000 an episode. Okay? Now, and then Netflix. Let me tell you something. When Netflix is snooping around the forrest fenn thing, there's a reason why. Okay? Netflix is a huge company. So they know what they're doing. Okay? So that tells you right there. That guy's making $100,000 per episode, at least. And that's Nova Scotia, the secret of Freemasons. There's no poem. So a lot of it's just hearsay. Here with forrest fenn, they got to go to Netflix. The viewers of the show can look at the poem and be a part of it. Much easier. This Freemasonry in the middle of nowhere. Okay, that we don't even really. Well, I can't comment too much. I barely even seen the show. Okay, but and that's the thing, Mars. Not now. I mean, the thing is, so look, if you've already been running around, I'm not gonna name any names. I don't really have any idea what's going on. But if you're running around Yellowstone or whatever, or wherever you are in the Rocky Mountains, and you're letting Netflix film you, dude, you should be holding out for so much money. Like each and every one of us major participants is a huge time capsule in American history. This is the most American thing there is. Just filming you, if you've been a part of this forrest fenn treasure hunt, just filming you is worth thousands of dollars with Netflix budget, and how big this is compared to what's it called, the Curse of Oak Island. So because it's just bigger, it's going to be bigger than that for sure. And then you throw in all the fraudulent behavior, the embezzlement, and the one second. The laundering, the embezzlement, the extortion, the racketeering, and the tax evasion that could have very well been going on. I mean, this is way bigger. This is way bigger. Netflix, I don't know. I mean, I would guess that Netflix well, I pretty much do know. Just thinking Netflix is going to have a way bigger budget than History Channel. I mean, so if you're letting Netflix film you going around the Rocky Mountains, that's just crazy. Just the fact that this is Americana at its highest degree. I mean, it couldn't be any more American. The biggest treasure hunt ever in the Rocky Mountains. I mean, just them filming you should be, if you've been a participant for a while, is huge. It's worth a ton of money. Okay? It's worth so much money, more than you could ever imagine. Okay, anyway, that I thought I would go over that, but 1 second. Okay, that's it. And just something else to add. I mean, with $500+ million budget, if I am right, and I probably am, the first one to come to my defense on YouTube, the first major FinTuber, might not even need to be a major FinTuber, is going to probably make a lot of money off Netflix for doing that, because they're going to have very important content. And just watch, especially when I start going over all the scrapbooks, just watch. Within 2 or 3 weeks, people are going to start coming out after me making this video, people are going to start coming out in support of my solve. You know it's going to happen. And now that I'm explaining how this stuff's going to work out, probably, because, but you got to remember, see, Scrapbook 215 Business Partners is where Fenn is really overtly giving it away that the treasure was at Lewis Lake. See, Fenn was hell-bent on revenge. So all those people that signed whatever they did, the Scrapbook 215 Business Partners, they thought, like after they signed that, Fenn was getting crazy in the scrapbooks with all the illegal activity. So Fenn set them up perfect. I mean, and that's the thing, you know, Mary Lou, Louise, Guadalupe. Louise was different. She was outflowing and a little gushy. The bank was 2 blocks east. The Three Rock Blaze was 2 blocks east of Lewis Creek. Spring Ensemble, Spring Creek, he totally gave it away. So these people that think they were all clever, it's just, Fenn set them up perfect. So, but the thing is, when you come out in support of my solve, you're also admitting to all the fraudulent activity that took place. You're also admitting to how Fenn set all these people up, all the business partners. You're also admitting that that's what happened. That sounds weird. I mean, so if you come out in support of my solve, you didn't do anything wrong, but you're admitting that you recognize that Fenn set up all those business partners. That's what I'm trying to say. That you're able to recognize it. And again, that's what's really going to sell. That's what's going to sell this Netflix series so well. Is all the fraud and how Fenn got the last laugh. So it's going to be unbelievable. But yeah, I thought I would go over that. But yeah, I mean, I think if you come out in support of my solve, I mean, I think it could potentially pay off really well, just in my opinion, from Netflix. So anyway, that wraps it up. Okay, so man, I've enjoyed doing this recording so far today. I just keep adding to it. This is going to get you even more excited. So if you still are not believing me or following me, let's think about it from the perspective of a Netflix executive. Okay? You following me? And when you look at there's obviously businesses that are publicly traded. They have income statements, balance sheets, cash flow statements. Those are the main three. Okay. Now, see, there's gross margin and the net margin, or the net profit, if you will. Okay. So when you look at an income statement, now, I don't know anything about putting together a TV show, but look, you got say you have a $500 million budget, okay? I'm really just spitballing here, but okay, so what's a good show? Lost. Okay, Ben always talks about Lost. I've seen that. I watched that several years ago, okay? On Netflix. Then I think they ended up taking it down. But okay, so just any TV show. Okay, so say you have a $500 million budget. Well, Lost got to probably go to an island. If it was filmed on an island, I don't know. I mean, they showed the ocean, right? So it probably was filmed on an island, and then you got to pay all the actors and just all. It's just a huge. It's a huge budget. I mean, so what I'm getting at is, what's the margin? What's the gross margin, and what's the net income or the net present value on something like that? Net present value is a more sophisticated way to look at a business endeavor, if you will. But it's probably pretty good, but it's not like, it's just not the net it's not going to be like software, like the gross margin on software. But look, so that's just a traditional, most of these shows, it's the same thing. You got to pay for filming on location and getting set up to do the filming and then paying all the actors and then all the props. I mean, so the gross margin is not even close to software. I mean, if you're a Netflix executive and you're looking at the forced fenn stuff, and by the way, before we talk about gross margin, net margin, revenue is revenue. Do you follow me? So what I'm getting at is this: like, if the Netflix executives think that they can put together 10, 15 seasons on the forced fenn thing, then they're going to do projections of revenue. That's what it's about. Okay, it's about revenue. I mean, how do we know forced fenn doesn't make the interest is not through the roof? But here's the difference. The gross margin. It's minuscule. They send a couple crews or however many crews to the Rocky Mountains. Number one, they just pay for ready-made YouTube content. Okay? Losing my train of thought. Ready-made YouTube content. Okay? And the salts. Like, the expenses, they don't need to, I'm going to laugh here, they don't need to pay for actors. But there are some actors, aren't there? But you know what I'm trying to say? I mean, listen, if you don't think the Netflix executives are absolutely salivating over the margins, I mean, it's ready to go. It's all they do is pay for the licensing, the solutions, and the YouTube contents, and then the licensing to use the YouTube content and the solves, and then go out to the Rocky Mountains and do some filming. They could have better margins than software companies, than most software companies. They could have gross margins of 70, 80, 85%. I mean, Netflix executives are absolutely salivating over this. Could be their number one cash cow for 10, 15, 20 years. Their number one cash cow because of the net margins. Because say you paid me, say I'm right. Okay, and you've got a $500 million budget, and you pay me something like $25 million. That's nothing. That's 5%. That's absolutely nothing. Okay, so and then you pay everyone else for their content. Say I don't even make that. Okay, so by the way, though, the margins is not determined based upon the estimated production cost and the actual production cost. It's based on the it's based on the revenues compared to the actual production cost. Okay, now, but if Netflix is just, I mean, if the Fenn series becomes like their number one thing, and the actual production costs are say it's really not much compared to the revenues, then they could have 90% margins. They don't need to hire traditional actors or get the all the props and the access to the locations and all the filming and the redoing all the takes or whatever and all the stuff. It's not like the margins, like the executives are salivating over the potential of the Fenn thing. They are probably looking at it like it could be their number one cash cow for several years because of the margins. There's not, even if I made 10 million or more, their margins could still be 90%. It doesn't. There's so much money to be made. It's just unbelievable. So you've got to remember that. That's all they're paying for. It's not much in production cost. It's just to license the content. That's it. It's ready to go. The Forrest Fenn stuff, all the content, YouTube, it's ready to go. It's ready to go. The Netflix executives, they know that. They absolutely know that. So, yeah, are they going to make some of their own content? Absolutely. Absolutely. You would think. They have to. But I think a lot of it is just licensing good YouTube content where they're just going to play. I bet you half of an average show, I bet you half the show would be like Netflix produced. I'm putting two and two together, and then at least half of it, or more than half of it, would be already important YouTube content that's already been created that they're just licensing. I mean, that's to get the story going. Okay? Let me stop it for a second. And my earlier point about how it should all be based on the fraud that's going on and how Fenn set up those business partners, because I'm looking at the Netflix, someone posted on Hint of Riches that my brother works as an assistant to a name, head of global productions, and last night told me the following people have already been approached, have signed NDAs for a brand new series titled Finding Fenn's Treasure, and then he names the names. And a lot of it is the people in the lawsuits. So there you go. First season, it's going to start off with controversy. That's where Fenn was a genius. He set up he wanted revenge. He got so frustrated with people trying to scam him that he set him up. And it's all going to be controversy. It looks like it's starting out probably season 1 with the lawsuits, all these different people, and it's going to continue with the solve involving fraudulent behavior in terms of Fenn having someone pick up his own treasure. So Fenn's talking about that. So that's what's going to sell. That's what's going to sell it. And the margins, the Netflix executives are just salivating right now at the margins. So anyway, I thought I would go over that, and that wraps it up.